Demon Trouble, call Debbie. I love a good tagline. I watched the Donald Farmer directed and written Debbie Does Demons. So thank you for conjuring up this episode of Slasher Sports Cinema. I'm Billy Graves. Let's get it going.
And I'm here to kill you.
I am Dracula.
Say that I have shed innocent blood. What's blood for, if not for shedding?
6-year-old child with this blank, pale, emotionless face, the blackest eyes, the devil's eyes.
You know, I am not usually into the supernatural horror because, I don't know. Just, I don't generally get into the things I don't believe in and things that couldn't happen in real life. I guess it depends on who you ask, right? But for me, the supernatural horror has never been my gigs, never been my bag. But I think I might have finally found the missing ingredient. Okay, not just supernatural entities, but naked supernatural entities may have sealed the deal for me. I always made the joke that if you add a werewolf to any film, it doesn't matter which film it is, add a werewolf to any film and my dad's going to love it. Well, I guess if you add a naked ghost or a naked witch, I'm sold. You know, I've never been into supernatural flicks. I prefer like the home invasion, the slasher, things that could happen right now if, shit hit the fan. But this film, Debbie Does Demons, by the great independent exploitation B-movie, low-budget horror maestro, Donald Farmer. So this thing is basically about 4 friends who release a 300-year-old witch from her slumber by means of a Ouija board. And trust me, that witch, she doesn't look a minute over 250. Not a minute. But it's up to the host of a ghost hunter program to dispatch of said bruja. And that host, she's Debbie. And Debbie does demons. Okay, no longer doing Dallas. She does demons now. But like I said, this film was written, directed by a great Donald Farmer. He needs no introduction. If you're even a little bit into cult horror or just indie exploitation in general, talking about Bigfoot exorcist, shark exorcist, any kind of exorcist, he's got them. Cannibal Hookers, original and the 2019 film. Scream Dream. Now, Scream Dream is a favorite in my good friend Adam Freeman, who also co-stars in this film. Debbie Does Demons will be remaking. He's helming that film. And it will include Donald Farmer. So I'm really looking forward to that one. But Farmer's always got lead actresses who are both babes and badasses. And he didn't slip in this one at all. Okay. We've kind of got a couple of gals who are top billed. I think 3 really deserve that top billing. We're going to talk about that in a moment. But Jessa Flux, she stars as the 300-year-old witch in this film. And, I had an interview with Jessa not long ago. It was probably longer ago than I thought. But she was promoting the film Murder Size, which is going to be coming up really soon. A Paul Ragsdale, Angie D'Alba film that I'm really looking forward to. But Jessa in this one is she's known for He Knows, the Steve Morris film. Oh, hey, what we got here? Can't wait for the scary things. Well, the scary things, Sarinda, you will get. And scary they were. Thank you for chiming in, by the way, Sari. You know, Jessa was a complete delight talking about Murder Size, but we're not here to talk about Murder Size. We're talking about here. We're talking about Debbie Does Demons. And the demon in question here is Jessa Flux. She plays the 300-year-old Camilla Karnstein. Okay, so a Jewish witch, if I'm not wrong about that. Also stars Angel Bradford, who is our titular Debbie, the one that does demons. You know her from Bloody Hooker Massacre, Martian Massacre, all kinds of massacres. But you know, Angel started out in the makeup department. She was a makeup gal and a very talented makeup artist. And you can see proof of that in this film, because she did makeup effects in Debbie Does Demons. But she's an actress, a damn fine one. Listen, if my Tennessee math is right, she's got about 30 projects in the queue right now. 30. They're not even released. Can't wait to see what she does going forward. Morrigan Thompson plays Lauren in this film. We know her from Instinction, Triple Xmas or XXXmas. I still don't know what we're calling that film. I like Triple X's myself. Jessa seemed to agree in our interview. If you go back in the archives, you can find that interview, by the way. But, you know, though Jessa Flux and Angel Bradford get top billing in this one, we can't sleep on Morrigan Thompson and Debbie Does Demons. Okay, Morgan Thompson is the one that said, "There's a demon outside my house and it just ate my best friend's date." Or my friend's date. Sorry, misquoted. This thing also has Adam Freeman. He said, "Debbie's got a banging little bod. Maybe she'll let me in her chamber of secrets." Adam, you look like you relish that line a little too much, my man. A little too much. Dixie Gerse is in this one. Let me tell you something about Dixie. I'm sit up here and I got Dixie on my mind right now. Okay, Dixie was actually going to be in tonight's episode of Slasher Sports Cinema. We pushed that off until the 29th, and I cannot wait, because Dixie is an absolute delight. And, you know, about 60%, if not better, 70, we'll call it 75% of the guests on Slasher Sports Cinema have been through the conduit that has been Dixie Gerse, and I appreciate the hell out of her. Oh, Indonesia in the house. How crazy is that? We're worldwide, man. Worldwide. Indonesia. How did I get so lucky to have people from Indonesia? Sari Indah. Indonesia. Seems like an alias. That's not your real name. You must be on the run. I don't know. We'll find out. Ronnie Jones is in this one, and she threatens to put Adam's balls in a jar. Kind of cool with that line. Adam, watch yourself. Watch your balls. Steve McGill. He plays a Jehovah's Witness. Steve's a delight. As a Jehovah's Witness, I think he gets what he deserves in this film. And some of the funniest dialogue came from this guy, and I believe his name is Ford Winstar. And he's kind of got this especially a fascination with trolls. And he doesn't know the difference between a witch and a troll. And it's just some hilarity that comes out of him. Great lines. I think he might be your most versed actor in this film, if I'm not speaking out of turn. But final guy that I want to talk about is Joseph Hudson, who many people in the pro wrestling community would know as Josephus. Okay. I was unaware of Josephus until the National Wrestling Alliance made its comeback to weekly TV. And it was started out on YouTube on NWA Power. And Josephus was, he played one of the bad guys on screen, but then he developed this character called the Question Mark. You knew it was Josephus just because of the way he spoke, and he had the beard, the same body. And it became one of the most, it almost became comic relief, but people really got behind the character. And the character at, I believe it was the first pay-per-view under the, I guess the new revamped studio wrestling situation with the NWA. He sang the Mongrovian national anthem. And yes, Monrovia is not a real place, but he sang this national anthem, and it was just mumbling and just like a growl mumble. And there was a long pause, and there was the applause where everybody thought the song was over. And then he just restarts singing. And it might have been the most memorable part of that pay-per-view. And Josephus Hudson is what we're going to call him. We'll call him Josephus. Sadly, he passed away. It feels like a couple of years ago. So it should show you how long this film has been in production, finally out to the masses. And I'm really glad that Josephus could, be seen in such a role. The lucky bastard got to kiss Jessa Flux. Come on, man. It doesn't get any better than that. That's how a man wants to go out, But Josephus Hudson, man, R.I.P. to that guy. Total badass. Love him. But Donald Farmer keeps a very simple formula in Debbie Does Demons. 4 people wake up the dead with a Ouija board, and they need the expert help to vanquish the witch back to whence she came. So often these stories become convoluted and bogged down with details that the viewer just kind of loses track. And I'll admit, I'm biased to this film because I can count on one hand how many members of this cast have not been on this podcast or aren't scheduled to be on the podcast, and I'd still have enough fingers left over to pull pickles off my hamburger. You know what I'm saying? But this is the best that I've seen Jessa Flux. Maybe not the best I've seen of Jessa Flux, but this is the best I've seen of Jessa Flux's acting, and she hasn't even gotten started. Okay, Jessa puts spirit into this role as a centuries-old seductress and brings the best out of everybody in the cast, I think. And, I've also got to give credit, got to give him his flowers to the film editor, Tim Ritter. Make no mistake, nobody's going to say Debbie Does Demons looks like a big-budget film out of Hollywood, but Ritter, if it was Ritter who did it, did a great job of having unique transitions between scenes. I first noticed when Josephus's character has one of those pause frames that transitions to the next scene, but it wasn't seamless. But that asymmetrical transition, it kind of gave me this grindhouse film of old, the kind of schlock you'll find at a small drive-in in the middle of nowhere. Okay, excellent work by Ritter, excellent work by Farmer, excellent work by the cast. The cast looked like they were having a lot of fun with this film. And in turn, I had a lot of fun watching. Was the dialogue a little simplistic? Sure. But does Donald Farmer put his name out there for people while, I guess veterans and noobs alike to get real experience working with a long tenured filmmaker? It doesn't get very much better than Donald Farmer in terms of low budget B-movie horror exploitation. And this is it. You literally have Jessa Flux walking around as a naked witch. And is it meant to bring in eyes? Hell yeah, it is. But if you don't get engrossed in the story and its developments, you're concentrating too much on those double D's. You know what I'm saying? I think that's what you're doing. And it's easy to do because Jessa Flux is an absolute hammer. If slasher sports cinema had a Hammer Hall of Fame, Jessa Flux would be a first-year ballot. Okay? First-year induction. First-year whatever I'm trying to say. I don't want to overly objectify. I'm trying to be funny here. Jessa Flux has got a lot of talent. Anybody that you talk to that has worked with Jessa will tell you that she's not just a pretty face on set. She has ideas. She'll stop you in the middle of what you're doing and give you those ideas. She's recently started stand-up comedy. Did her first open mic the other day. You know what kind of guts that takes? I haven't done it. I'm not going to do it. This is just, I like coming on here and shooting from the hip. I can't do what they do. But Angel Bradford, listen, in the lead role here, or I guess in the lead babyface role, she did a great job. Okay, Angel Bradford made a very believable, reluctant witch expert. I got a lot of time for Angel Bradford, but let me tell you guys, Morrigan Thompson, I want to say Morrigan Thompson is the breakout, could be a breakout from this film. And I was pretty blown away by the diversity in her character, because she had to go from, well, I don't want to give any spoilers here, but she kind of had to go from good to bad, back to good, a little bit of transitioning there for Morgan, and she knocked it out of the park. So, I mean, I guess lastly, do I suggest you find Debbie Does Demons and watch to your low budget heart's content? Absolutely. Do you, like I said, does Donald Farmer put his name out there for people who are a long time in the game and are still wet behind the ears? Another big yes. And this is the kind of film that you watch for the fun of it, but you also look at what can be done with little to no budget. Donald Farmer is a guy who can take a small budget and turn it into an absolute banger of a film. And I think Debbie Does Demons is that. I had a lot of fun watching this. I know you will too. I would have, if I could offer any critique to the great Donald Farmer, and this is just me, because I'm, I like what I like, but I would have liked the opening credits to be after the cold open. We get an intro to Debbie in the cold open. She's doing her little ghost hunter show. It's like, hey, this is Debbie, almost a la, Beetlejuice offering that exorcism. But Debbie's doing her little spiel. She's got, her TV show going on the air, and then it transitions to another scene. I would have liked to have seen that as a cold open, and then bust into the opening credits, and then go to the introduction scene to the rest of the cast. But that's just me. I'm a sucker for a cold open. I like for cold opens to be able to double as short films. And I think Debbie's intro could have doubled as a short film, as a proof of concept, had the rest of Debbie Does Demons not existed. So that is my little critique. This has been my minor review of Debbie Does Demons. I hope you go out and find it. I hope you watch it. Contact Donald Farmer, Jessa Flux, Morrigan Thompson, and Angel Bradford, Adam Freeman, and the rest of the crew on a job well done. Now, make sure you're following me on all the social medias at Slasher Cinema, on Facebook at Billy Graves SSC, that stands for Slasher Sports Cinema, on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. No, actually, it's Slasher Sports Cinema on TikTok. And, of course, follow the whole Slasher Sports family. Slasher U with Christian Rao and Steve Feck. The OK Baseball podcast with Christian and Sean Doyle. Suki's Honeydew Project with Suki Suburbia. And, of course, come right back here with me, your host, Billy Graves, on Slasher Sports Cinema. And may you drink the blood of your enemies from the skulls of their children.